What's going on, guys? My name is Glenn Twister. Welcome back to Batman Arkham. So in today's video, we're going to basically just describe some of the things that happen after the Arkham Shadow incident. Basically, a few things that happen after the Arkham Shadow incident are, one, a new way of holding prisoners is needed. So we have a few insane criminals such as Penguin, Two-Face, and the Joker. And they are very much at large, and they are a wild bunch. They are insane in every single way, and they cause havoc at every corner that they possibly can. So what do we need? Well, we need something to hold them down, something to hold them back, something that can keep them there and separated from Blackgate prisoners, because Blackgate prisoners are, like Joe Chill, not the worst scumbags on the planet, but Joker is. So we need to separate them because Joker is able to use some of them to get out sometimes. So Arkham Asylum is reestablished. Now let me read you from the Arkham Wiki the background to Arkham Asylum. So as you know, Arkham Asylum is the heart and the soul of the Arkham franchise. It is the heart. It's ever beating. So I think it necessary to explain some of the things that happened there, and how it was established, and how it, came to be. So, all written by the Arkham Wiki, and whoever wrote this in the Arkham Wiki, the historic Elizabeth Arkham Asylum for the criminally insane, known simply as Arkham Asylum, is a medical facility and criminal penitentiary secluded from the mainland, dedicated to helping those who are deemed criminally insane and afflicted with extreme mental illnesses. Founded in 1921, it initially consisted of just the Arkham Mansion and the Botanical Gardens, but gradually developed into the institution it has become in modern Gotham City. Amadeus Arkham originally founded Arkham Asylum in 1921, in memory of his mother, who he euthanized as treatment for dementia. The facility was designed by Cyrus Pinckney III and built on the grounds of the Arkham family's historic mansion on the outskirts of Gotham City on the secluded Arkham Island. Amadeus personally treated its first inmate, Martin Hawkins, who had killed his wife and daughter. After being claimed sane enough to walk free, Martin was due to be released until he murdered Amadeus Arkham's secretary. At some point, Martin also went to the Botanical Gardens on the island and desecrated the statue raised by Amadeus in memory of his family. These many tragedies pushed Amadeus over the edge, and during a session of electroshock therapy, he murdered Martin. Amadeus was later ruled insane and incarcerated in his own asylum, where he died. His gravestone was located next to the Botanical Gardens. Over the years, the asylum gradually developed, with new facilities such as the penitentiary being established. However, it was eventually closed down soon before the Arkham Origins incident, possibly because more criminals were instead sent to Blackgate Prison, which later proved to be unfit for housing the criminally insane. Once reopened, the facility was voted as the #1 psychiatric and rehabilitation center in the state. However, the infamous reputation remained, as more high-profile criminals frequently managed to escape its walls. So, based on that, it was established by Quincy Sharp, by the way, who, as you see in the post-credit scenes, or during the credits in Arkham Origins, he definitely hammered it in that Arkham Asylum needed to be reopened. And so they did reopen it, and it became really respected. But criminals constantly escaped, so it became like a foreboding shadow curled up on the edge of the city that people just were like, no, I'm not looking at that today, that'll ruin my day. It and Blackgate are very much big reasons Gotham is viewed as such a dark and gritty city. and compared to Metropolis, Star City, places like that. So let me continue. It developed to become a premium 500-bed psychiatric facility holding a range of individuals deemed insane. For the past 2 years prior to the Arkham Asylum incident, the facility offered internships to university students to help them gain valuable experience for a career. Arkham Asylum's own website, called Arkham Care, was the online public face of the facility that was designed to inform potential patients about the institution. So there's a few criminals that would be housed there, but first, some of the workers, the employment. You can't have a facility without employment. So some of the more popular ones working there would be as follows. Starting off, we have Aaron Cash, who was stationed there, who had his arm bitten off by Killer Croc, eventually. The previous head of Arkham Ward at Blackgate, Hugo Strange, was eventually stationed there. Gretchen Rissler, basically a senior staff member at the establishment. Harleen Quinzel was moved to Arkham after being fired at Blackgate. Sarah Cassidy, Stephen Kellerman, a guard named Eddie Burlow, and Frank Bowles were also established there, or set up there, stationed there. Penelope Young was also on the list of popular or more well-known doctors or employees. And then other employees stationed there that are maybe not in the Arkham universe are Dr. Hurt, Lockup, Adrian Chen, Bartholomew Walper, Bill, Dr. Burton, Carl Todd, Dr. Double X, Dr. Hurt, Dr. Bartholomew, Eddie Burlow, eye-patched Arkham Guard. Don't know what that means. Greavy, Gretchen Whistler, Adam Hendricks, Henry Smith, Ian Kennedy, Jackson Jerry, Joan Leland, Jordan Frazier, Kevin Liu, Louis Green, Luke Curtis, Maria Andrell, Masked Guard, Mary Maker, Mike, Nate, William North, Professor Millow, Robert Sterling, Alice Sinner, Thomas Armbuster, Wendy Maga. Those are some of the employees at the establishment. So yes, it's a big list of characters that have worked at Arkham Asylum, and much like the criminals, Arkham Asylum tends to change the people that either work there or are housed there. The place is poorly kept. The atmosphere is very thick and grit and dark and kind of scary at times. It's haunted. It's a haunted feeling. There is a comic book, Batman Arkham Asylum, and that is basically just being trapped with the criminals that you fight, and what a haunting, terrible feeling that it is to be there. And he does kill his villains, which is why I say it's a nightmare, basically. I mean, there is a reason that Arkham Bruce Wayne only donates money and isn't actively trying to clean up the place, keep the place maintained. When we go there later on in his career, it's very poorly maintained. I don't think Bruce Wayne is very active in its effectiveness. It could be his baby, because that is where all his villains are kept, but It's not, and it shows. It really does show, which is unfortunate. But you know, it is what it is. And from now on out, um, Arkham Asylum is the primary place for housing what they call patients or criminals. I call super criminals. But yeah, so there's that. The Iceberg Lounge is established finally, which is connected to the Cyrus Pinckney Museum. And then, as I said, Joker, Penguin, and Two-Face are the primary villains at this point. Black Mask is not making too many moves anymore. Maybe some drug runs and stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. Especially not compared to the mass murders that the likes of Joker do onto the people. Two-Face definitely revealed himself to be quite a major criminal. He's no longer Harvey Dent. In fact, he kills people who call him Harvey Dent. Which is an unfortunate truth. The only sane or semi-sane member of the main villain trilogy is Penguin, and the Penguin is quite a psychopath. Some more villains that make themselves known. Harleen Quinzel. We saw it coming, but she is no longer a psychiatrist employee at Arkham. She is now insane. So she talks about other people's shadow, but unfortunately, by doing that, she reveals her own shadow, which goes by the name of Harley Quinn. The court jester, the chaos duo for the Joker, the fallout. Joker is her Pookie, but she is not his. She is not respected by him. She is a dummy for him. So she falls head over heels for the Joker, and she gives into her shadow fully, and her shadow overtakes her, and she is no longer a psychiatrist, a respectable psychiatrist. She is now a criminal, and she is quite insane, which is the most unfortunate on the list. But the next would be Jonathan Crane, no longer a psychiatrist either. His obsession for making people shit their pants becomes super villain level. He poisons water supplies. He does the most to rig stuff or to steal from banks, or to make Batman fear him. The only thing on the planet that he does fear is the Batman. But he is now scampering around rooftops as the Scarecrow. Arnold Wesker is the ventriloquist. He robs banks as Woody. Or Woody runs a gang, similar to a mob boss. A very famous actor by the name of Carlo Basile is turned into a freakish monster known as Clayface. Pamela Isley, if you remember, she is the one who supplied plants for Jonathan Crane, and how he made his fear toxin is chemically changed. She was a botanist, doctor, but then she turned into a monster, a freakish monster, with an ecological problem with the government and how they treat plants, and she values plant life over human life. So she does kill people using plants, or she does seduce people using plants, except for the only person she cannot seduce is Batman, but I'm sure she has seduced Robin at some point. Considering Robin was seduced by the rat cult. There might be a couple different rat catchers, or rat catcher copycats that use the ventilations at Arkham Asylum to get around, and they do probably make holes and little places to live in Arkham Asylum. similar to what they probably still do at Blackgate, that which still does keep going, and it still is operational, even now, or even after the Shadow incident. Calendar Man is still at large, killing people on holidays only. There are a few corrupt businessmen. I'm sure Ferris Boyle is still on the large. Deadshot hasn't been seen in a while, but I'm sure he's still kicking it around. There's a villain known as Boomerang going around. Killer Moth, whom Batgirl made herself known as, with Killer Moth, who basically shoots sticky substance from his gun. He is still at large. And then, yeah, so I've stated quite a bit that are still at large. I'll put up a picture here. Now, this is the entire Batman Rogues Gallery in the Arkham universe. There's Prometheus as well, who's basically a villain version of Batman. His parents were killed by cops, so he made a vow to end law enforcement in Gotham. The final big villain that is added to Arkham Asylum would be Edward Nygma, who reveals himself to be the Riddler. There's a big list of villains in the Arkham universe that do things. And within these factions of villains, they each have their own group of thugs, and these thugs basically make up Gotham City. Gotham City's citizens are basically all owned by villains because that's probably the biggest employer in Gotham would be villains. So someone has to be there to stop them. Who's there to stop them? Well, Barbara Gordon, or the Oracle, reveals herself to Bruce Wayne to be Batman, by which she was able to hack into, because she's a master hacker and a master researcher, she was able to hack into Bruce Wayne's files in the Wayne Manor that James Gordon was invited to, a party of some kind, and Barbara went with her father, and she was able to hack into Bruce Wayne's computer and basically find out that he was Bruce Wayne, or that he was Batman, that Bruce Wayne was Batman, which was shocking to her. But she later revealed to Bruce Wayne that she was also Batgirl, and she would love to work with the Batman, and things like that. Do you remember the Question is in Gotham? Some Green Arrow is in Gotham as well from time to time. Black Canary is somewhere on the planet doing something. Superman does exist. And then John Jones does exist, the Martian Manhunter. I'm not sure that Flash exists at this point, but he will eventually. The Amazonians definitely exist. Green Lantern, the Green Lantern Corps certainly exists somewhere in the universe. Zatanna is already clearly well established in Gotham City. She has posters all over the city. Kathy Kane, Bruce Wayne's childhood friend, had a voice line. Catwoman is still around. I mean, maybe she'll eventually come over to our side. So there are heroes to back it up, but in Gotham there is just Batman, Barbara Gordon, the bite-sized Batgirl, and Dick Grayson. So yes, that is phase 1 of the video. We're moving on to phase 2 now. and that would be Dick Grayson and what exactly is going on with him. So with that, I'm going to propose a video game idea that could possibly be a sequel to this game. Now, as we know, Dick Grayson is now a foster student of Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne has taken him under his wing, and Dick Grayson now attends Gotham, the University of Gotham. So my proposal for a possible sequel to this game, and it does really excite me, but you play as Dick Grayson, and Dick Grayson is attending school. He is caught up in his work, and he's trying to become, I don't know exactly what he studies, but he is there, and he's probably an athlete, and he's doing the best that he can to try to turn his life around from going from a rat to a good citizen that does good things. And he does do a lot of things with Leslie Tompkins, and to clean up the streets of Park Row and the area surrounding Park Row, clean it up to give people good housing and good health care. So I think for the game, during the day, Dick Grayson is at school, doing work, and he's helping Leslie out with Park Row, but at night he sneaks out of his dorm to don a black mask and a black outfit, because he cannot just say, Tony Zuko, you may have killed my parents, but I forgive you. Because in Arkham Shadow, we see how Bruce Wayne forgives Joe Chill for killing his parents, but Dick Grayson is not at that stage. He's not. He mourns the loss of his parents, and he really is desperate for vengeance, and he wants Tony to know what he did was terribly wrong, and he wants him to suffer. And this is where Bruce Wayne steps in. So basically what we're thinking gameplay wise is you during the day you're doing things with your friends and things with Leslie, and college, Park Row, grounded work, and then during the night you're scampering across rooftops investigating Tony Zuko, to find out what he's doing now and how he's ruining people now, the same way he did as a kid. And then this is where Bruce Wayne steps in and is trying to use it as a way to teach his son that this is not the way to do it. This is not how we do things. We don't kill, Bruce Wayne's basically just like, you can't do it like this. I mean, the criminals of Gotham, you should know it. I mean, basically, you work around it, you worked with it, the rat cult, so basically, by the end of the game, there's even more empathy for criminals. Do you know what I mean? There's even more of a hard lesson for Tony Zuko's terrible, and it basically is able to both say Tony Zuko is terrible, but some criminals are good, and it's a way to differ to sort out the difference between, okay, this guy here, Tony Zuko, shitbag, deserves to be in prison for life, but Joe Chill or any other goon that might be on the street, that's a difference. There's a difference there. And then by the end of the video, or by the end of the game, the final mission would be okay, Bruce is like, I am not going to stop you. I can't stop you. So if you're going to take down Tony Zuko, first of all, do not kill him. You will regret it for your entire life. And let him face judgment in prison. You also get to use eskrima sticks, which I think would be great. You can reach back and grab them. And I think that would be really fun to be able to play as Robin, or to be able to play as Dick Grayson. Maybe we can even meet Kathy Kane, and of course we have to meet Barbara Gordon, who is primarily differing out probably working with Batman in a lot of scenarios, probably working with the Batman directly, but primarily she's helping out her father, Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, solve crimes. And I'll get down the line. I'll get down to that later. But yeah. So at the very end of the game, the final mission, Bruce is like, okay, if you're going to do this, and you have to take down all these criminals, first of all, I will be there with you. I may not be fighting right alongside you, but I will be watching over you. But he doesn't, of course he doesn't say that, but I'm sure he will be there to like, lift him up and say, okay, you can't do this on your own. Like, you have to be with me if you're going to go out there. But also, I'm going to supply you with armor and technology and gadgets so that you can do this more safer. So basically what I'm thinking here is, by day, you got University of Gotham stuff, because University of Gotham does have its own lore, but we've never really seen it in the Arkhamverse. I mean, we know we send Pinckney plaques and we send runes to Gotham, University of Gotham, but we don't really ever see it. We've never actually seen it on the map anywhere. So I do think that's important. And then by night, he fights crime. And then again, by day, of course, he also is with Leslie Tompkins, because I think we definitely need more Leslie Tompkins in this game, especially in Park Row. And then, yeah, by the end, he effectively becomes the Boy of Wonder, the Robin, which was also a name that was given to him during his circus days. And so, effectively, by the end of this phase that comes directly after Shadow, not only do we reveal all these different villains, and we reestablish that we reopen Arkham Asylum, which, by the way, I want to state this out as well. While Dick Grayson and / Robin is doing this, Batman and Barbara Gordon are helping out with Arkham Asylum as well. And then, yeah, so by the end he effectively becomes Robin, and then thereafter that, it is the classic Batman and Robin dynamic duo. Which brings up the fact that the Batman the Animated Series can be a part of the universe, but just certain episodes, not every episode. And then, yeah, so we'll talk about the Batman Animated Series after this, which will be in 2 days. And I'll go into detail of what we can do there, like what episodes we can watch that fit with the Arkham lore. Because we need some Batman and Robin action, right? For what happens in a couple games to actually be really impactful. And then after that, I will explain some more about the dynamic duo. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, please do press like and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next, whenever we do. Bye-bye.